Good morning, students. Last time we have finished with the pest control practices. Today we are going to explain the last topic from the chapter Agricultural Pest and Their Control, that is plant protection appliances or pesticide appliances. So, the pesticide appliances or the plant protection appliances are simply the equipments which are used for the application of different type of pesticides such as liquid, solid or the gaseous pesticides which can be effectively uh, applied on the variety of crops so as to control the different type of pest. So, the usefulness of any pesticide depends upon its proper application by judicious or a suitable selection of the pesticide appliance or the equipment. Insecticides may be applied in a liquid, solid, or gaseous state. It is important to determine the form, formulation, application, and the timing of the application of the pesticide, etc., of the insecticides. So, it is very important to determine the form, formulation, application, and the timing, etc., of the insecticides. There are three methods of application of insecticides. The first one, that is the spray, means we can apply the insecticides in three different states or types, that is spray, dust and fumigants. So there are three type of pesticides which are available in a different states, that is solid, liquid or a gaseous state, and thus there are three type of applications of the insecticides. First one is a spray, in which a carrier like water or oil is used for the preparation of the formulations of the pesticides. Then second is dust or the powder pesticides, in which a fine dry powder is the carrier, which may be an inert powder but acts as a carrier for the dust type or powder type of pesticides. And third one, that is fumigants. So fumigants may be in the form of liquid or solid, but they are applied as a gas or in the gaseous state by using the suitable equipment like a cyanogas pump. So, the ideal equipment for the application of insecticides should possess some following qualities. That one, it should be simple and easy to operate. So, the equipment which is used for the application of pesticide should be simple and easy to operate, or it should be cheap, not of much of the cost. Then spare parts should be readily available. So whenever there is any fault or the problem with the equipment, so that should be repaired easily, and the spare parts of which should be available easily. It should be handy and cost of operation should be low. The equipment should be handy or should be easy to operate, and the cost of operation should also be low, and its performance should be of high degree. The performance of the equipment in application of the respective pesticide should be of high degree or of best quality. Then first we'll explain about the spraying. So spraying of the liquid pesticides or the pesticidal sprays which are applied on the different crops in the form of liquid spray called as spraying. So application of the liquid pesticides. The application of liquid pesticides on the crops is called as spraying. It is done with a liquid insecticide formulated by either suspension, emulsion or solution. The spray droplets of the liquid insecticide varies in a size from 30 to 150 microns. So, droplets which are produced after the application or the spraying of the liquid insecticides or the liquid pesticides, the droplets of the liquid or the solution of the pesticide are formed in the atmosphere and which are having varied size and ranging from 30 to 150 microns. The size of the size of the pesticidal droplets depends on the type of sprayer used. The type of sprayer used. The droplets combine to form a film on the surface of the crop or the surface on which after some time, a deposit of insecticide will left after the evaporation of the water or liquid or oil or a solvent on the surface of the crop plant or the surface on which the liquid is sprayed. So the size depends on the type of spray used. The droplets combine to form a film on the surface of which, after some time, a deposit of insecticide is left and the water or oil or any other solvent is evaporated from the surface of the crop or the surface of the plant leaves. Means after spraying, what happens? There is a formation of a uniform film onto the surface of the leaves of the crop plant, and after some time what happens? The liquid or oil or the water or any other solvent get evaporated and only the particles of the insecticide will remain onto the surface of the crop plants. Stomach poisons kill the insect when they feed on the sprayed surface. So, stomach poisons will kill the insect when the insects will feed onto the uh, plant materials which are containing the insecticidal particles or the components. So, stomach poisons killing the insects whenever the insect will feed upon the leaves or the plant materials which are containing the insecticidal uh, particles or the droplets. Contact poisons are sprayed either on the insects or on the surface on which the insects crawl. So, contact poisons are sprayed either on the insects or on the surface of the crop or in the crop on which the insect crawls. So, the insect pest will get killed whenever they will come in contact with the particles or the droplets or the insecticidal material whenever there is a direct contact. So, whenever there is a direct contact of the insect pest with contact poisons which are sprayed on the crop ultimately get killed. So, insects get killed when they come in contact with the contact poisons. The flying insects are brought in contact with the insecticide by spraying directly on them. So, when the process or the activity of the application or spraying of the insecticide is going on in the field, the flying insects or the pest will directly get exposed to the insecticidal sprays in the field and get killed. When water is carrier, when water is used as a carrier, the usual method of application of the spray is by passage of the insecticidal spray or the solution under pressure through a special nozzles which distribute the chemical or a poison in a fine spray over the crops. So when we'll use the water as a carrier for the application of the liquid pesticides, what happens? The insecticidal spray will pass through uh, the carrier tube or the hose tube of the sprayer, and there is a which is having a nozzle. So the lens of the sprayer will have a nozzle, and this insecticidal spray will pass through a carrier tube or the passage tube or hose tube of the sprayer under pressure. So the spray of the insecticidal solution, the spray of the insecticidal solution will be formed uh, in the atmosphere when the solution will pass through the lens or the nozzle under pressure. So this will form a fine uh, spray, will form a fine spray on the surface of the crop plants. Due to increased effectiveness of new organic insecticides, spraying is most common mean of or method of application. So due to increased effectiveness of new organic insecticides or pesticides, spraying is the most common method of application of the insecticides or pesticides. Knapsack sprayer is successfully used throughout the world for spraying of the pesticides over small areas. Knapsack sprayer is the equipment and used for the spraying of the liquid pesticides throughout the world effectively for the spraying of the pesticides over small areas or small scale spraying. For the purpose of small scale spraying, usually knapsack sprayer or equipment is used for the spraying of the insecticides. So this will cover very small area of the crop in a day, because this is a small equipment used for the spraying of the liquid pesticides and is carried directly back on a person, and this is operated manually, and thus the area covered for the crop spraying is very much small. So first equipment, that is a knapsack sprayer. So for the spraying of the liquid pesticides, usually the equipment or the appliance used is a knapsack sprayer. So it consists basically of a spray container or a tank which mounts comfortably on the back of the operator or a person and supported by straps over the shoulder. So this is very small equipment, or having a spray container uh, or a tank uh, which mounts comfortably or which will be kept on the back of the operator and provided with straps over the shoulder. A double action pump, a double action pump is built either inside or outside the spray container and is operated by working lever which projects alongside of the operator's body. So this is the explanation or the description regarding the structure or the components of the knapsack sprayer. So it is consisting basically a spray container which mounts comfortably on the back of the operator and supported by straps or the belts over the shoulder. A double action pump, a double action pump is built either inside or outside the spray container and is operated by working lever which projects alongside or one side of the operator's body. In some models, the pump lever also operates. In some models, the pump lever also operates an agitation paddle in the spray tank. The spray liquid is applied through a lance. The spray liquid or insecticidal spray uh, solution or the liquid is applied through a lance or gun held in the operator's free hand. The lance is connected, the lance or a gun is connected to the spray tank by a long flexible hose or a rubber tube. The lance is connected to the spray tank. The lance is connected or gun is connected to the spray tank by a long flexible hose or a rubber tube which carries the insecticidal solution from the spray tank to the lance or the further nozzle. The tank capacity is usually about 5 gallons, that is 15 to 16 liters. The sprayer being portable, the sprayer or the equipment, knapsack sprayer being portable and handy, so can be carried on the back of the operator and is handy. It can be used for spraying. It can be used for spraying in inaccessible areas. Inaccessible areas, about half hectare of the crop field can be sprayed per day. So this is used knapsack sprayer. It is a small, portable, handy spraying equipment, and it can be used for the small scale spraying on a smaller crop area. About half hectare of the crop field can be sprayed per year. So this is the image of the knapsack sprayer having a tank having capacity of liquid solution or the insecticidal solution, that is 15 to 16 liter. Then inside of the tank we can see the agitator which is connected with the compressor pump. So this equipment, knapsack sprayer, is having a compressor pump or a pressure pump which is fitted inside of the sprayer tank. Then above the sprayer tank there is a opening possessing strainer and also a lid. Then on other side the compressor pump is connected with a delivery hose or a rubber tube which is then connected with a lance or a gun which is having a cutoff valve with a strainer, cutoff valve with a strainer, so as to break or so as to continue the spraying activity while spraying. Then the lance is provided with a nozzle which is adjustable and one can adjust the spray droplets. One can adjust the spray droplets with the use of adjustable nozzle which is fitted to the terminal end of the lance or the gun. And uh, this is also provided with a lever, operating lever or a handle for the manual operation of the pump so as to create pressure in the tank or in the compressor pump so as to pass the insecticidal solution from the spray tank to the compressor pump, from where it is then passed through the rubber hose or the tube into the lance, and from where then is sprayed onto the crop through the nozzle with fine droplets of the insecticidal solution under pressure. So this is the image showing the sprayer or the equipment called as a knapsack sprayer used for the application of the liquid pesticides or the insecticides. Then second type of uh, pesticide appliance or the plant protection appliance called as dusters. So duster is the equipment used for the application of dry powdered poison or the powder pesticides to the plant body or the insects. So duster is the equipment used for the application of the dry or powder pesticides or the poisons. So dusting in a general is a best done usually in the morning when there is no wind or late in the evening after the dew has fallen. So this is the timing. So dusting can be done easily or best in the morning when there is no wind, because if there is a wind, the powder pesticide will blown uh, on one side, so that cannot be applied homogeneously or evenly on the crop plant. So dusting is usually done in early morning so as to dust or so as to form the uniform layer of the powder pesticide onto the uh, particular crop when there is no wind or late in the evening after the dew has fallen. So this will also help in sticking of the powder pesticide on the surface of the leaves of the crop plants due to a dews or the water droplets on the surface of the plants. So the dusting can be done best either in evening or in a morning, either when there is no wind or when there is a dew has fallen onto the crop plants. So dusting is commonly used in the regions of limited water supply. So dusting powder pesticides can be uh, used or applied for the purpose of pest control wherever there is a scarcity of water or a limited water supply, and it is very effective against the pest. It is very effective against the pest which infect low-lying crops nearing harvest. So the powder pesticides are usually used onto the low-lying crops. So this is very easy to apply because the powder pesticides will directly reach or will pass down onto the surface of the plants or these low-lying crops, and this will not cause any of the harm to the operator while dusting the powder pesticides. Then we'll explain the shoulder type rotary duster. So dusters are of two types, that is the chest type rotary duster and the shoulder type rotary duster. So in our syllabus, we have to study the shoulder type rotary duster. It consists of a container. The shoulder type rotary duster is having a part or one component called as a container or a hopper so as to store or so as to put the powder pesticide or a dust. So it is having a container or a hopper used for the storage of the dust or the powder pesticide. A system of agitation, a system of agitation to disturb the dust and a feed mechanism to pass the dust into a current of air which is carried through an outlet as a turbulent cloud of the powder pesticide, and this is manually operated rotary type of the duster. This is also the small equipment can be kept or can be applied, can be kept or applied on the uh, one side of the operator. So that can be just uh, connected in the shoulder, that can be tied in the shoulder with the use of the straps or the belts, and is kept on one side of the operator or a person. So it is also manually operated rotary duster, and it is provided with a system. It is provided with a system to agitate the powder pesticide or the dust from the container to the blower. So this is also having a system so as to agitate or move the powder pesticide from the container to the feed mechanism to pass the dust into a air current which has been created in the machine. So air current is created in the machine or a duster which is provided with the manually operating fans or the belts so that the powder pesticide could be agitated and can will pass from the container to the feeding pipe or the mechanism to pass the dust into a current of air and which is then carried through the outlet, which is then carried through the pipe or the outlet as a turbulent cloud. So that will form a turbulent cloud when is released outside through the blowing pipe. This is also manually operated rotary type of duster. In this type of duster, in this type of duster, a fan is driven up, and hand crank through a reduction gear produce an air system or air current or the air stream. So this particular machine is having a fan inside, provided with a hand crank and through a reduction gear produce a air current or the stream. The air stream then passes through the exhaust pipe. The air current or the stream then passes through the exhaust pipe on which a hopper or a, a powder container is mounted just away just away from the tip of the exhaust pipe or the mouth. So, so this is just a simple equipment provided with a container or the hopper, then a machine with a fan or a crank provided with a, uh, provided with a reduction gear, and that will be operated manually, that will rotated manually with one hand, and this will create the air current or the stream which will then pass through the exhaust pipe. So at the same time this will get the powder pesticide or the powder pesticide or the dust from the container or the hopper will pass into the exhaust pipe. So ultimately the powder pesticide will run or pass into the exhaust pipe whenever there is a air current or the stream created on the rotating its handle. So when the operator will rotate the handle, uh, the fan will get rotated and this will ultimately create the air current and that will pass out through the exhaust pipe, and along its passage the dust powder or the powder pesticide from the hopper or the container will also ultimately reach into the or pass into the exhaust pipe, and this will form a um, a cloud. This will form a cloud of the dust powder in the atmosphere. So this is what the working mechanism of the duster. So while dusting the powder pesticide on the low-lying crops particularly, the powder is released into a mixing chamber by simple agitator. The air mixed with the dust then travels through a pipe and comes out as a finely dispersed dust particles in the air or the atmosphere through the terminal opening or a blowing pipe. The duster is provided with a shoulder straps. Similar to the naphtha sprayer, the duster is also provided with a shoulder straps or the belts for fastening or for fitting, complete fitting uh, to the shoulder of the operator. The operation of the machine, the operation of the machine is less tedious other than other hand dusters, and dusting is smooth and uniform. So the operation of the machine is less tedious or quite simple than other hand dusters, and dusting is smooth and uniform on the surface of the crop of plants. So this is what about the explanation or the description regarding the shoulder type rotary duster. Now, see, this is the figure or image showing dusters. So, in the figure, uh, the first one, 2.25, it is named as a shoulder type duster, but it is not a shoulder type, it is a chest type rotary duster. This is the mistake, this is the printing mistake. This is the printing mistake. The above diagram shows the chest type rotary duster. Above the diagram which is uh, above the first diagram in the image, that is a chest type rotary duster which is having much complex or the compact structure provided with a handle, then a fan or a crank with a reduction gear inside, and then hopper, and then the blowing pipe. So this is the compact structure of the chest type rotary duster, and it is held in front. It is held in front of the operator while dusting. So while dusting, it is hold on the front side with the use of the straps or the belt. Then second figure or the lower one is a shoulder type rotary duster. It is a shoulder type rotary duster. On left side, it is having a container or the hopper. Then it also shows the belts or the straps, and with a supporting base. And on the front side, that is on the right side of the figure, it shows the machine with a fan provided with a agitator, and uh, on either side, on again the right side, there is a operating handle, and inside of which just there is a fan which will create the air current or the stream, and on the front side there is a blowing pipe or the exhaust pipe provided with a opening or a mouth. So these are the two figures showing chest type and shoulder type rotary duster. So in our syllabus there is a shoulder type rotary duster. So consider the lower figure of the shoulder type rotary duster, uh, uh, so as to study the duster as which is only included in our syllabus. But the diagram above, that is a shoulder type rotary duster. The name is different. It is a chest type. It is not a shoulder type rotary duster. The lower one only is a shoulder type rotary duster, and the upper one is a chest type. So the chest type rotary duster is held in front or kept in front of the operator, and the shoulder type rotary duster is kept on one side, is held on one side of the operator, particularly onto the left side, that is hold on the left side of the operator, and so as to operate its handle easily with the use of the right hand. So the lower figure is a shoulder type rotary duster. The capacity of the hopper or the capacity of the hopper or the container of the rotary duster ranges from 4 to 5 kg, and it is useful for dusting the row crops as well as the bushy trees. It is usually used for the dusting of the low-lying crops or the row crops as well as the bushy trees or the smaller trees. This type of duster can dust about half to 1 hectare of the crop field per day. So this is also used for the small scale dusting of the powder pesticides on the low lying crops, and the area covered in a day is only up to half to 1 hectare per day. Advantage of dusting over spraying. Prepared in a less time. So dust simply a powder pesticide that will be kept in the container or the hopper, and the dusting can be initiated uh, immediately. So it is prepared in a less time. Economical where water is scarce, means wherever there is a shortage of water, it is economical to use uh, for the application of the powder pesticides, easier to apply, and machinery for application is light. The weight of the shoulder type rotary duster is very much small or light and less complicated. Then disadvantages of dusting over spraying. Control of borer by dusting than spraying. Control of borer by dusting than spraying. So this is disadvantage. So whenever there are borer categories of the pest which will not be uh, controlled by the application of the dust or the powder pesticides. So this is the drawback. We cannot uh, uh, control or get relief from the borer category of the pest by the dusting powder pesticides. More expensive than spraying. So this may require much of the price or the cost of the powder pesticides. So material or the powder pesticide contents or the material of the powder pesticide will required will be more, because we'll have to dust or the apply the large quantity of the powder pesticide all over the crop field, and thus it is more expensive than spraying. Adherence of dust not so well as in a spray. So powder pesticides can fall down onto the ground instead of remaining onto the plant surface for longer time. Since it is a dry powder or it is in a powder state, it can fall down from the crop plant directly onto the surface of the land, and thus application or the adherence of the dust not so well as in spray, because the liquid spray or the insecticidal spray which are applied in the form of droplets on the surface of the plants or the leaves, and the solution or the water get evaporated, and ultimately the active component of the poison of the pesticide will remain stuck onto the surface of the leaves or the plants or the crops. But in case of dust, it can not stick to the surface of the leaves, but simply can pass out or fall down onto the land. So adherence of the dust is not so well as in spray. Application period for dusting is very short, as very rarely the wind is calm. So application period for dusting, that is either morning period or evening period, is very short, during which there may be no wind. But uh, application period for the dusting is very short, as very rarely the wind is calm. So during daytime there may be a wind and it will become difficult to do the dusting or the application of the powder pesticide in the crop field. So application period of the dusting is very short. That is either a short time in morning or a short time in a evening, or there is a uh, uh, there might be a wind throughout the day. So tendency of separation of toxicant and carrier in the air. So this may lead to dusting or the powder pesticide. While application of the powder pesticide or the dust, there may be a separation of the actual poison and the inert powder in the atmosphere. So tendency of separation of toxicant or the powder pesticides, actual toxic components of the dust powder and the carrier material or a inert powder can be separated in the air or in the atmosphere, and increase the hazards to the operators from inhalation of the toxic dust. So this is the one of the important drawback that is increased hazards to the operators from inhalation of the toxic dust. There may be a inhalation of the toxins or the toxic dust or the powder through the respiratory tract. This can also happen with the operator. So this can lead to the poisoning or toxicity effect of the powder pesticides due to the inhalation of the toxic dust uh, into the body of operator or in the respiratory tract of the operator. Then third type of uh, pesticide appliance and which is used for the fumigation purpose. The third technique. So there are three techniques of the application of pesticides. The one that is spraying of the liquid pesticides, and for this purpose we use to a knapsack sprayer. Secondly, the powder pesticides or the dust can be applied in the form of dust or in the form of fine particles of the dust on the surface of the crop, and for this purpose we use to uh, the rotary type shoulder duster. So shoulder type rotary duster or chest type rotary duster can be used for the application of the powder pesticides, and the process of application of the powder pesticide is called as dusting, and the equipment used is a duster or a shoulder type rotary duster for the dusting purpose. So third type of or third category of pesticides or the type of pesticide, that is fumigants, which are applied in the form of gas or the fumes, toxic gas or the fumes of the fumigant or the pesticide, that is fumigant, can be applied. So the application of the gaseous pesticides or the fumigant pesticides, the uh, application of the fumigants is called as fumigation. Application of the fumigant in the form of gaseous state, or it is applied in the form of gaseous state, is called as fumigation. So fumigation is a very effective method of the insect control and is employed usually in a closed chambers or in a closed situation or the closed condition or airtight condition to fumigate the stored products. So the fumigation is a very effective method of insect control and is employed or used usually in a closed chamber or a container or in an airtight tent or the conditions to fumigate the stored products. To fumigate the stored products, and usually the fumigation is done for the control of stored grain pest in the storages. Fumigation may be either under atmospheric pressure. Fumigation may be either under atmospheric pressure in a partial vacuum under reduced pressure. So partial vacuum is more efficient. Partial vacuum is more efficient as it increases the toxicity of the fumigants, which helps in penetration of the gas and brings about a reduction in a treatment period. The gas is generated. Usually, the gas is generated, the fumigant material, which may be solid or liquid. So on application, the gas is generated, and by exposing the liquid or solid to the atmosphere, and the space be to be fumigated. So whatever the space or the area which may uh, infested or possessing the insect pest. So while uh, fumigation, the gas is generated. The fumes, toxic gas or the fumes are generated when the liquid or solid fumigants are exposed to the atmosphere, and the space will get fumigated containing respective type of pest. The kind of fumigant determines the procedure to be followed for fumigation. The dose is estimated either by the volume of the enclosure or a material to be fumigated. The gas mask should be used during the operation. So while fumigation, the operator or the person should wear the mask, gas mask, so as to avoid the inhalation of the fumigant gas or the toxic gas. So the gas mask should be used during operation, and as it protects the face from the poisonous gas of the poison from the air is removed. So it is essential to use the gas mask to the operator so as to avoid the entry of poisonous gas through the respiratory tract when it passes through the container holding chemicals known as canister. So, canister is the a container where actual solid or liquid material of the fumigant is kept. The chemical kept in the container absorb the poisonous gas. The chemical which is kept in the container absorb the poisonous gas, and gas of concentration of up to gas of concentration, the gas of concentration up to 2% is removed by the canister. So this is the loss. This is the loss of the fumigant, that is about 2%. Means 2% toxic gas can be absorbed by the container. So that is negligible, but the chemical which is kept in the container that can absorb, so container can absorb the poisonous gas up to 2%, but remaining 98% can be released to the outside from the container through a pipe or through a passage which is directed towards the atmosphere or towards the space where the fumigant gas or the fumigation is directed or released to control the insect pest. So the fumigation is a technique usually used for the application of the gaseous or poisonous gas, gaseous fumigant or a poisonous gas which is released from the solid or liquid material of the actual fumigant, and that is simply directed towards the space. And fumigation can be done only in a closed situation, may be practiced. Fumigation can be practiced in the godown or a storehouse or a storage godown or the warehouse, or even we can employ the tent fumigation in case of horticultural crops. In case of horticultural crops, we can employ the fumigation by using the tents which will form a cover all around the horticultural crop or the plant. So this is the image showing cyanogas pump, which is in the base, which is having a paddle. It is provided with a paddle, so that can be used for the compression of the gas. So in the base there is a canister. The cyanogas pump is having a canister or the container in the base in which we can put the solid or liquid fumigant material, and it is provided with a compressor pump. It is provided with a compressor pump so as to create the air current, and provided with a pipe from the canister. It is provided with a pipe or a rubber tube or the hose, and a blow pipe or the exhaust pipe to the terminal end. So this is just a simple structure of the cyanogas pump and is used for the application of the fumigants which release or which emit a toxic gas or the fumes, which are simply directed to the outside or into the atmosphere or the space present around. But the fumigation can be done only in a closed situations or in a closed conditions, that is fumigation technique is very effective in control of the insect pest of the stored grains or the stored products. Then we'll explain regarding the various components or the structure of the cyanogas pump. The cyanogas pump, the cyanogas foot pump is the equipment. The cyanogas foot pump, so it is operated with the use of feet. It is operated with the use of feet. So in the base it is provided with a paddle, and that can be operated with the foot. So cyanogas foot pump is equipment specially designed for applying calcium cyanide. It is a fumigant against subterranean pest. It consists of a pump. It consists of a pump and a long foot rest. In between a footrest, in between a footrest and a pump, a glass container is suspended which holds the calcium cyanide dust. A pump is provided. A pump is provided at the top and is used for pumping the air through the glass into the delivery hose. The jar holds about half kg of the dust powder, fumigant powder. Fumigant powder, not a dust powder. It might be a dust, but it is a fumigant powder which will release the toxic gas. So a pump is provided. The cyanogas foot pump is equivalent. The cyanogas foot pump is a equipment specially designed for applying the fumigant like a calcium cyanide against the subterranean pest, means the pests which are usually occurring to the base of the crop plants or the trees, and it consists of a pump and a long footrest. It consists of a pump and a long footrest. In between the footrest and the pump, there is a glass container which can hold the calcium cyanide dust or a fumigant. A pump is provided at the top and is used for pumping the air through the glass into the delivery hose, and the jar or container holds about half kilogram of the fumigant powder or a dust powder. It is suited for small scale dusting operations. The cyanogas pump is suitable for small scale fumigation uh, in a kitchen, garden, poultry houses, cattle farm sheds, etc. The machine is also known as foot pump duster or a plunger type duster of or cyanogas pump, since it can be employed in a fumigating the rodent burrows or a rat burrows with a calcium cyanide or a cyanogas or a sodium cyanide, that is also a cyanogas. So this machine can be used for the fumigation of the rat burrows or different animal houses, that is poultry house, cattle farm, gardens, kitchen, or even can be used for the fumigation of the storage godowns or the warehouses containing stored grains, so as to treat or control the stored grain pest. So this is about the cyanogas pump, three type of uh, plant protection appliances or the pesticide appliances. Then there is one more point that is also essential to explain here, that is hazards of pesticides. So chemicals are widely used by man nowadays for the control of pest. So the different type of pesticides or the toxic chemicals are widely used by the man for the control of pest, and the quick and effective control of the pest has made him prone to use them on a large scale. So as to have quick and effective control of the pest, the human being or the modern man using the large quantity of pesticides for the control of these pests. But the consequences brings about were unknown to him till recently, and this may lead to a poisoning effect in the environment. So this can lead to long time of the large quantity of pesticides having a drawback or its hazards on the environment, animals, or even on the human being. So, the large number of dead floating fishes on the water body and dead birds near fields has made him aware of it and forced him to reconsider for the use of pesticides. So, this is the drawback or the hazards of the pesticides. So, due to the contamination of the environmental pollution by the large quantity of pesticides or the poisons which are added continuously, regularly in the environment, and that can pollute the soil, then atmosphere, then water bodies, and which is having its drawback on the fauna, on the animals like fishes or the birds, uh, which get died. So this leads to the death of the fishes in water. So this can also lead to the harmful diseases in the animals or even in the man when these pesticides or the persistent pesticides or the residue of the toxic pesticides when reaches to the environment in the atmosphere or in the air, in the soil, in the water, and can lead to the pollution of the entire environment and can lead into the food chain and can certainly reach up to the human being and can lead into the health hazards. So different type of diseases which can occur or can be produced in the animals and even in the human being due to the pesticides or the toxic chemicals. So in regard to this, Mori in 1967 said that pesticides are never applied to the pest population alone. So according to the Mori, who did his argument that the pesticides are never applied to the pest population alone, but are applied to the whole ecosystem, and so the effects should be viewed in that way. To stress the point, to stress the point further, he suggests that pesticides should be regarded as biocides rather than insecticides, herbicides, and so on. So pesticides should be named as a biocides, means the pesticides are the toxic chemicals which are used for the purpose of pest control. Instead of saying them or referring them as a pesticide, this should be regarded as a biocides, means having ability to destroy or to kill or to cause a death of the all living organisms, including plants, animals, microorganisms, all. Then another point, that is resistance. The first and the most important point that comes up while considering the drawbacks of the chemical control is the resistance acquired by the insects to the pesticide. So, large number of insect pests which are controlled by using the chemical pesticides, which are the actual poisons, but there is a development among the pest population, there is a development of resistance. So ultimately we'll have to we'll have to increase the more quantity, we'll have to increase the concentration of these pesticides so as to kill them. This is because there is a development of the resistance against the pesticides in the pest organisms. So ultimately, we'll have to increase the concentration or the dose of the insecticides or the pesticides so as to get its effect, so as to kill the pest population, so as to control the pest population. We'll have to increase the concentration of the pesticides, and ultimately this will increase the stress. This will increase the stress on the environment. So this is also of great importance that the pest organisms or the insect pests which are increasing their resistance against the chemical pesticides. So ultimately this will increase this will increase the environmental pollution. So resistance is defined by who? Experts committee on insecticides as development of an ability in a strain of insects to tolerate doses of the toxicants and which would prove lethal to the majority of individuals in a normal population of the some other species. The concept of resistance is not new. The concept of resistance is not new. It was also known prior to the use of DDT. The first evidence of resistance dates back in 1908. Later, some 8 species were recorded to show the resistance to the materials such as hydrogen cyanide, arsenates before 1940. The housefly showed the best example of the resistance in 1946. Housefly showed resistance to the insecticides in some populations, but by 1950, 5 to 11 species developed the resistance to one or more insecticides. So these are the just the studies or the reports which indicates the increase in resistance of the pest population against the variety of chemicals, and this will lead to the human being to increase the dose or the concentration of these pesticides so as to kill these pests. So resistance. So it's about the resistance. Then one more thing that it is essential to explain here, that is antidotes. The one more point, that is antidote. So whenever there is a poisoning of a particular pesticide or a toxic chemical, the one should know the antidote. So farmers or the persons who are handling or using these pesticides, either liquids, powder pesticides, or the fumigants, all of these pesticides, they are toxic or harmful and can lead to uh, the dangerous effects onto the human being which are handling or who are handling these pesticides. So it is essential to know the antidotes. So antidote is a remedy. What is the antidote? Antidote is a simply a remedy or a medicine so as to treat the person who is having the poisoning due to the pesticides. So there are different type of antidotes which are specifically recommended for the treatment of the poisoning, or whenever there is a poisoning of a particular pesticide, one should know or one should have the knowledge of antidotes also. And most common antidote, that is atropine sulfate. Atropine sulfate is most common antidote and is used for the treatment of pesticidal poisoning many times. So this is also very important. So every farmer or all the farmers or the person who are using or handling these variety of toxic chemicals for the purpose of pest control in the agricultural practice should know the antidotes of each and every poison or the pesticide that they are using in the field for the purpose of pest control. So antidote is the remedy or the medicine. Antidote is simply a remedy or the medicine used for the treatment of the pesticidal poisoning. So this is what about the uh, the topic agricultural pest and their control. For this purpose, for the explanation, for the explanation of both the chapters or the topics, that is sericulture and agricultural pest control, I have referred the textbook of the Nirali publication, and the authors were Dr. Kishore R. Pawar or Dr. Ashok Desai, who uh, who are the authors of the books of the applied zoology first, that is sericulture and agricultural pest and their control. I have referred the textbook of the Nirali publication, and the authors were Dr. Kishore R. Pawar and Dr. Ashok Desai, who published this, who are the writers, who are the authors of the textbook, and the publication is Nirali publication. I have also used the another book of the applied zoology uh, first of the Nirali publication. The authors are Dr. Prakash R. Kokate and Shahane Madam. So you can also refer these books to study uh, the applied zoology first, that is the topics sericulture and agricultural pest and their control. If you have any query, you can refer to these books, applied zoology first, Nirali publication. There are two textbooks of the Nirali publication, so as to study the course applied zoology first or second. So this is about our entire syllabus. Finished with we have finished with both the topics of the applied zoology first, sericulture and agricultural pest and their control, and videos of all the lectures and the videos of all the lectures of the entire syllabus or the contents are uploaded on YouTube. So you can subscribe my YouTube channel and observe lecture videos, all the lecture videos, so that you can get the entire idea, so that you can clear, or so that you can understand all the contents of the syllabus explained in a online lecture videos. So please go through the go through my YouTube channel, and very soon we are going to conduct our internal test. We are going to conduct the internal test exam based on these two topics, sericulture and agricultural pest and their control. So this is what all about our syllabus, applied zoology first, sericulture and agricultural pest and their control. So with this, we'll stop here. Till then, bye. Thank you.